I am Doug Friedman.
I am Kenzie Janest.
And this is Your Mental Breakdown,
the podcast,
where we pod
and cast it to you, fellow listeners. I'm not a fellow
Plural?
listener. I hope we have more than one listener, Doug. Why am I here if there's only one listener? Oh God, I have to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I'm on my phone today. I forgot my laptop, and I'm popular, so I get texts all day. So this is going to be really hard for me.
You're so millennial.
I had to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Also, that text was from my dad, so I'm not that cool. And it was not about something fun.
Right?
Yeah.
You were on fire this morning, though.
Am I? Like, actually? Oh,
no,
my God.
No.
Okay.
Not literally. Not literally. We're not getting literal yet. Figuratively. Because you came in, we were talking about things to talk about on the podcast, and you were like, oh my God, I have a list. And you started reading them, and I was like, wait, stop.
And they're fiery hot.
Because what you just talked about actually makes me think of a comment we've been getting the last, we've put out 3 episodes now with you. Or 2, 3, whatever it is.
That ain't my job. I don't know.
It's too many to have gone without saying where Meredith is.
Yes.
And
Doug.
You were just channeling your inner Meredith.
Aw. I can't wait to have her on here.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
That'll be fun.
And I mean, to answer the questions that we got, where is Meredith? She's around. Her schedule doesn't let her record with us regularly. So she's just going to pop on when she can. She's still, she's always been a friend of mine. She's still a colleague. You've actually never met her.
I've never met her.
That'll be fun.
I have not had the privilege. I'm excited.
I don't know if we'll be able to bring her out here. We'll go there, or we'll have to do old school Zoom style where you and I are in the same room. Just feet away from each other. And then we'd have Meredith on screen with us.
Wouldn't that create like audio issues?
How?
I don't know.
Do we have audio issues?
I don't know what I'm talking about.
I mean, I have to listen to you. That's an audio issue.
You invited me here, okay? I know I'm second best to Meredith. I'm just doing my job.
I don't rank at all. You guys are all even. You're all tied for 42nd.
42nd, the answer to life.
That's right. Oh, hey.
Thank you.
For the nerds out there. Nobody's going to get that. Nobody's going to get that.
Oh, come on. Surely somebody will get it.
What is it?
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Anybody?
Oh, never heard of it.
Oh, please. My eyes are rolling so much already.
Well, then let's get over to somebody we haven't talked about.
Yeah.
You and I.
Yeah.
Ever. Getting back to Drew, and you guys probably just heard Drew recently if you've been listening to the podcast. Kenzie, you haven't heard Drew in a long, long time.
It's been a while.
Right?
Yeah.
And
I missed his hell yes.
Hell yeah. Much different tone than Sarah. And,
completely opposite.
Right?
Almost.
And he's in a much different life stage, and you guys will hear it right off the bat or check in with health because he's had some health issues, but he dropped the bomb on us right when we finished up with him last, where his girlfriend is
preggo.
That's right. So they are expecting
a human child.
A human? I guess it's a human child.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
Really. Yep. Who's to say?
Don't know. Let's stick around. Just hang out with us for the next 9 months and you will.
9 months. Is it real time? No, once again, I don't know how that works.
Well, just think about timing in this way. We're going to break and you will hear me and Drew in a session and then we'll come back and break it down.
Let's stay in the here and now.
That's right. And if now and later, you have some questions. I
love those.
Now and laters?
Oh my God, I miss those. Okay, sorry. Oh, wow.
Favorite flavor?
It's been so long, I don't know. Probably a red or a pinkish one. Those are always the best.
Yeah,
I don't like cherry, though. Absolutely no cherry.
No. Same. Watermelon, Jolly Ranchers.
Watermelon.
Yep.
Yes.
Jolly Ranchers, now and laters.
Okay, but
it was always the watermelon.
I have a hot take. Unpopular opinion, maybe. Blue. Blue's my favorite flavor, and it's never an actual flavor.
Blue?
I know, my friends judge me for it. Blue raspberry, that's not even a fruit, but it is my favorite candy flavor.
Interesting.
So, Drew.
And we will be back with you later.
Thanks, Dr. Seuss. You tried. I saw you try. Bye.
How's first things first? How's your health? How's her health? How's the health?
Good.
We haven't even. You dropped this the other day, and we haven't really followed up. What's going on? Your health, her health, and her internal health.
Yep.
Let's go with that.
I've been sick as a dog for the last probably week or so. Since the last time we talked, and I'm okay. It's a lot less of the head shit now. I have a gnarly cough. I was up all night last night coughing, so that was fucking brutal. And other than that, groovy. You know, stress wise, pretty good. Mental's pretty good. Physical's pretty good. You know, can't complain on any of those fronts. She's doing
You
pretty good
can.
too. She's been really sick, and it's not like morning sickness. It's morning, afternoon, and night sickness. And
Oof.
so it was like her last pregnancy, but this one, for whatever reason, it's just way harder. So she actually went to the doctor this morning. I was trying to go with her, but I couldn't go in, and I was up literally until 5 o'clock this morning. And so I was like, I'm gonna sleep a little bit. She went to the doctor. Everything was fine. It's through Medi-Cal, so it's not like the best doctors. It's been a really fucked up situation as I'm understanding the Medicare system and how all this stuff works and how I'm involved in all of it is pretty wild. And so it was like 3 weeks of this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Wow.
Which is bullshit. You know, like she's pregnant. Like she should be able to go see a doctor and get treatment and help and all of that. You know what I mean? So it's kind of frustrating and I'll be angry about that one, you know, to the system and fuck the system and all that kind of thing. It just wasn't quite fair. And but she's getting through it. And now we have another appointment next week to go see another doctor. And so that's all kind of starting. And yeah, you know, it's exciting. Here we are and trying to make it all happen. And I have been preparing for all of this for like the last couple of years, and I feel very comfortable with it, as scared as I am with it. I think, you know, honestly speaking, if we were to take the financial question out of all of this, I'd be taking all the boxes and super prepared and really ready and extremely excited. I think I'm stressing on the financial aspect of all of this and getting our own spot and working and, you know, all of that. But I'm really trusting the process. Everything that's in my control, I'm controlling. And that feels really good, you know, and the stuff that I can't control, it's been really nice to be able to do this with her because I'm like, I don't know what to do here. I'm out of control. I'm not out of control. I'm not in control. And I have no idea what the answer to this is. You know, and it's been kind of fun with her just to be able to, and it's been hard. It's not like it's all fluffy and easy going, you know what I mean? But like being able to challenge ourselves in our relationship this way it's been really rewarding for where we have been, where we want to go, where we are right now and everything in between. And, and I think it's making me think about my health a lot more and taking all this stuff a lot more serious and wanting to be here for the long term instead of just kind of day by day living it. So, you know, there's a lot of layers to that onion.
Yeah. And then we'll look at the onion. I want to throw some garlic in this for a second. So going back to your health, you had some heart issues. I mean, you had a heart attack and there was some trouble with the insurance, finances, parents, doctors. Where are you just with that? Not in terms of, I mean, you can give me the health update, but just in terms of where you are with all of that and how you're feeling.
Yeah, I feel very in between of like, oh my God, this is completely overwhelming. And like, yeah, I might got this. I talked to my dad about it the other day and I was like, hey dad, like, I'm in over my head. I don't have this money to be able to cover this bill. I don't really know what to do. Like, and I'm not asking you for money, but I'm asking more for advice of like, how would you go about it? It's just putting me in a weird position now that I have a family and I have other responsibilities and I have a lot more on the line than just to be able to go sell a pound of weed.
You know, when I say you've got a lot more on the line, it's not dad giving you money necessarily. It's close, but it's not that. It's not you being an entrepreneur and going, okay, cool. You know what? I'm going to start, you know, making a little extra cheese with this. Like, no, that's not what we're talking about. And I think that idea of even holding a pound of weed, like not a big deal, but if you're driving around with it, I mean, yeah, shaking your head, like it's not worth it. Right? Yeah. In terms of a solution to get the debt paid off, sure. It's also not necessarily getting you to a better financial state of being.
No.
You know, it's just the equivalent of your dad writing you a check and going, here, there, that's taken care of. You know?
Yeah.
Back up for a sec, because we're still talking about your health, your heart. where that is, and you went straight to the financial piece. And it's interesting that a few of the things we're talking about so far go to the financial piece, right?
Right.
And I wondered two things. One is I want to hit the not financial piece and where you are with things, because we're talking about your health. We're talking about a baby, girlfriend. That's one side of things, just the health piece. The second side of things, I mean, your parents have money. And I know you don't want that, but we're talking about a heart attack, a baby. Interesting that for much of your life, they've just been supportive. Here, take that. Here you go. Here. And now, as of, I think it was like a year ago when they were like, no, we're done. So walk me through those things, your health and just kind of the historic financial piece. And let's separate them if we can.
Yeah. So health-wise, I mean, I feel pretty good. I've been working out a lot again, and getting a little bit more into it. I don't understand health and I don't understand any of it because I feel fine and I look fine and I am fine. And it's almost like a lingering thing at this point where it's like, I said it to my dad. I was like, I'm never fucking going to the hospital again. I'm never doing this. Because if all of this came about, and I don't know, I'm sorry to go back to finances, but if the whole point of all of this was just for me to be in debt, there's no point of me even going to the hospital. And so I'm very confused on where I stand healthcare wise, because it's a trust issue with me too. I've seen doctors fuck up my mom and not give me the best treatment, and maybe it wasn't the wrong treatment, it just wasn't the right one at the right time. And so I think emotionally I'm struggling with wanting to go to a doctor and wanting to get checked out and trusting what they say is actual truth and not just a bunch of hoopla. And I think that's the emotional side of it. The physical side of it is, I'm working out. I feel good. I'm not lethargic. I have a lot of energy, minus this cold that I got going on. I'm strong as an ox, you know what I mean? Like I'm a 26-year-old. So like, I think this is kind of like the peak of my physical being right now. I think I've kind of chalked it back up to, where was I? I was somewhere the other day and I felt panicky and I felt like an anxiety attack coming on, and I felt my chest getting tight. And I kind of realized in that moment that I was, that when I do feel like my heart's hurting or my chest is getting tight or any of that kind of nature, it's usually hand in hand with panic or anxiety or some other stressor that's going on with me. And so again, like half of me wants to self-diagnose and be like, yeah, Doug, like I'm good to go. Like it's just anxiety, man. Like we're straight. And the other half of me is like, nah, man, like I still want to go get checked out. I still want to go through this process. I still want somebody else, this is their profession. I still want them to tell me I'm okay. And so half and half.
I can see something starting to formulate. I mean, I'm going to discount Canada. I mean, great that you started there, universal healthcare. That's wonderful and all that, but that's not really your experience. But up until, last year it was, I'm on my parents' healthcare. I'm fine. I don't have to worry about it. And they've got money and everything's covered. And here's the thing is there's something about this that still falls under the category of being an adult. And soon you're going to be the head of a family and household of your own. Mm-hmm. So it's understanding these things and realizing like, man, I don't understand this at all. I think that there's a skepticism and suspicion about system, the healthcare system and this, that. So what often happens is we reject it all because of that. Mm-hmm. And I think we miss something with that. It's not what you think. We miss actually educating ourselves about something and making the unknown, which used to be the thing that really freaks you out, making it more known and making it less uncomfortable. When it's unknown and uncomfortable, we'll often just, like I said, become suspicious and not trust it. I don't trust those doctors. I don't trust this system. I don't trust this booster shot. I don't trust, whatever it might be. I don't trust them wanting to send me to a specialist, a cardiologist. I don't even know what that means. It's something where, especially with girlfriend going through a pregnancy, you're going to hear a lot of things from a lot of different doctors. And when you have certain health insurance plans, you don't have that many options. It's
Right.
partly why people like pick certain jobs and stay with certain jobs, because the health benefits are great. It's a
Yeah.
big deal. So I say all this because it's educating yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's about recognizing the unknown. And when we just ignore it, it's still there. As you said, I'm 26 years old. I'm strong as an ox. Yeah, motherfucker, you had a heart attack.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's real.
Yeah.
That happened. And whether it's COVID related or smoking and hypertension related, I don't entirely know. But it's something that I don't know that you can ignore and just say, yeah, I'm 26. I'm strong as an ox. You are until you have another heart attack. You are until you have a panic attack. You are until something happens. You see a therapist. Why? Are you mentally fucked up?
Teach their own, like teach their own. No, I'm good.
Right. No. I mean, that's
No.
You do it for your well-being. It's funny, honestly true, because I talk to people in the flip of this, where I'm helping them understand mental health. I'm like, look, you take your car to the shop and get the oil changed and you put gas in it. You might even wash it. You take better care of your car than you do yourself. They go, oh, yeah, but I go to the doctor and get a physical every year. I take my blood test. And you even said it when we were talking about me as like your trainer. People go to the gym and get their trainer. You go to therapy and get your mental trainer. Cool. But now for you, it's like the flip. Like, okay, and why wouldn't you take care of your physical health that way?
Right. I thought about this question a lot, and not just recently, my whole life. And I don't know. I'm gonna shoot in the dark, and this is kind of where my train of thought always goes. So I'm gonna throw it out there and see what you think about it. But I want to say it's correlated with my existential anxieties and me understanding that death is gonna come anyway. And so it's not that I'm prolonging it and I'm not speeding it up, but I'm just kind of somewhere in between, kind of enjoying my life. And I think with that, along with the experience that I've already had with doctors growing up and with family members and everything in between, it's just, I don't like it. I don't understand it. And because those two are hand in hand with me, I just don't want to do it.
Yeah, this is the thing right here. And I love that, man. Love that you recognize that. I'll give you the praise and I'll give you the tough love, because I know you like both.
Yeah.
Sometimes one more than the other. Okay. But you're going to get a little sprinkle of both. Great insight, going like, yeah, it is existential anxiety. That is at the heart of this. I'm 26. I'm strong as an ox. And I don't want to think about I might die. On the same hand, you're kind of looking at, well, I know I'm going to die, so might as well just enjoy this. Okay. Both those things are kind of true. And as you just said, that it's uncomfortable, so I don't want to do it. I don't know about it, and it's uncomfortable, and I don't. Okay. So the tough love part is, I'll say it this way. Cool, dude. Smoke a joint, chill out, have fun, relax. Don't even think about this stuff. Forget it. And in 9 months, you'll have a baby and you'll probably still be healthy and everything's going to be cool. No worries. Keep shooting hoops, keep smoking weed, keep playing 2K. Yeah, keep doing it, man. No worries. All good.
Yeah.
What?
That's like super uncaring. The reason why I like tough love is because it progresses me of where I want to be. And I think you said it too, of like, you say a lot of stuff that I've already said back to me.
Uh-huh.
And I think, we've had experience now, and we've had years of this. And so, where I want to be and where I'm going. And that's the answer I want, of like, yeah, just kick it, smoke some weed, go to the gym, work a little bit, drink some water, it's pretty important. But the real shit is like, nah, man, like I can't smoke 5 cigarettes a day and expect to live till I'm 80. The reality of what all of that is like, yeah, I mean, my parents like growing up, if I went to the doctor, it's because I wanted to go to the doctor. For example, I broke my foot one time. I broke a toe in my foot. And for a week, I was hobbling around. I was like, Mom, I think I was like 10 years old. And I was like, Mom, like, I fucked up my foot. Like, I need to go to the doctor. And she's like, nah, you just sprained it. It's just bruised. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. And then I go to the doctor and I have like a hairline fracture in my toe. So they boot me up. They do all this shit. And I look back on that kind of stuff and I almost got a thrill out of what that was because I was right. I was like, Mom, see, I told you, I know my body. I was right. Why didn't you take me to the doctor? And then there's times when I'm fucking sick as a dog and I'm laying on the couch for a week straight and my mom's like, all right, like if you're not better on day 4, we're going to the fucking doctor. And I was like, no, man, like I'll be good in like 2-3 days. Like just give me some time to sit and sweat this shit out and drink some water and take some NyQuil and DayQuil. I'll be okay. And then we go to the doctor and it's kind of the same thing. They're like, yeah, just rest and do this and do that. And I'm like, see, like, this is what that's what I said. And there hasn't been a time where I was quote unquote wrong in the doctor. And I think that's also what I'm trying to say in this one, because I don't know what's wrong with me. And I have no idea what happened. And I can't explain it. And I can't be like, oh, well, it's because I smoked 4 packs of cigarettes the 2 days prior. Or, oh, I didn't have any water for a week. Or, there was no, like, to your point, definitive answer of like, this is what happened. And I don't think there ever will be. So I don't see a reason to go find a non-definitive answer.
Yeah. Okay. Let me ask something. As we're talking about this, you're smiling. Okay. I'm going to, even before I get to asking what's going on.
I love what you think. I love when I can see it. And I know some good questions are coming.
What am I thinking? What do you think's going on over here?
You're questioning something I just said. And I think it's the definitive answer thing of like, well, why do I need a definitive answer? Why, like, does that really change my health? Or could I have a non-definitive answer that also benefits me in my health world? And then, yeah, probably.
Wow, that's exactly right and utterly misses something. Right? And again, this is the praise and tough love at the same time coming at you. Purposefully, I'm doing that today with you.
I like it.
You're absolutely right. That's the easy answer, though. What we're really talking about and what I'm really noticing is, wow, you are avoiding something here. There's a whole onion of what you're avoiding.
Yeah.
I want to scratch at that if we can.
Yeah.
We can get caught in the details, and the details are necessary sometimes. You got to figure out health insurance, got to figure out girlfriend's health, got to figure out your health, got to figure out how we're paying for things. Of course, you go into cape mode sometimes, and you will deal with all those details, and you will go pendulum one way to the other way. You said extremes a couple times already. The Drew that I know, that you know also, will do a lot of those details and do a lot of that. Then we'll go smoke some weed and chill out, hit the gym, take some time, and we'll go back and forth between being super ultra responsible for everybody and then being not irresponsible, but just having fun and almost in denial or neglectful about, what's really going on. Both of those things are mechanisms that keep us from digging at what you and I really do dig at, which is what's your actual emotional experience? What's really going on? What are we avoiding? What are we scared of? I'm picking up something and I want you to take over because it's also easy to go super big and go existential anxiety about, I've seen friends die. I'm worried about mom and her health and what that looks. I'm worried that I might die. I'm worried that, now I've got 2.5 other people to think about. I think is going to be too easy for you to go into the details and logistics and put on the cape and do all this and run around. I want to poke at it.
Yeah.
As I'm saying all this, how's that hitting?
Yeah, I'm sitting here trying to, my true emotional experience of what all of this is, and not anybody around me, like what it is for me. And I don't know if it's dark or morbid, but I just don't care that much. I care a lot more about the idea of my mom being okay, or my relationship with girlfriend, and my progression within my career and work world. I mean, my dog, I love him more than anything, but with everything, this is the last thing I want to think about, because it could be the most important and then I can't think about anything else. And I think that's my biggest fear. Like, if I have to all of a sudden not help, or I don't want to say care, because I always care, but being able to affect a situation because of my situation, I'm going to hate myself for it.
That mentality that you have has served you very, very well. And it is often pretty noble to go, yeah, I'm thinking about other people, developing the mechanism to think about ourselves. And that's one where, going back to putting the oxygen mask on yourself first, it's also checking in with your general health and just going like, whatever, but I can answer it for everybody else. I can do it for them. I can be there for them. That's not an adult way to do things. We think it is, Yeah, I'm being an adult. I'm sacrificing myself for everybody else. It's cool. It's noble. No, it's right. And you're shaking your head. It's, in a way, I'll say it this way. Again, for impact, it's kind of childish.
Yeah.
You have not been your own individual as an adult for very long at all. There's absolutely no judgment in that. It's just saying, like, this is new for you. Mm-hmm. It's like, cool, you learned how to ride a bicycle. Now go do the Tour de France. Like, what? I just got to the place where I don't need my dad holding on to the back seat. What are you talking about? It's not lost on me, because I feel, to use one of our words, I feel very whelmed by a lot of what's on your plate. I put myself in your shoes. And as you, I feel traumatized by having a heart attack, not knowing what my healthcare was, not thinking I could see a doctor, not being able to rely on parents. They weren't there for me, not wanting, but, and then shifting to, well, I don't want parents. I'll do it myself. It'll be fine. And then, you're figuring that out and you go through, cool. And some work things are going great. And then some of them implode. And I got a girl. Awesome. I can rely on her coming back from Arizona. Cool. She's there. Oh, no, wait. She's too drunk to pick me up at the airport. Oh, she cheated on me. Oh, mom's relapsing again. Oh, now we're having a baby. I mean, it's very close to being overwhelming. As I say that back to you, how's that sound?
Honestly, I kind of allowed myself some leeway, because it's been a rough fucking year. And I'm not, like, I was gonna say I'm not gonna compare with anybody else, but fuck it. Like, I mean, this is my year, and it's been fucking hard, and I haven't seen any light at the end of the tunnel yet. I'm still head in the sand, digging. And I think, for all of that being said, sitting here right now today, I feel incredible mentally of everything that I have been through in this last year, alone, with community, with support, without support, here and there, everything. And it doesn't really excite me for the future.
What do you mean by that?
I think it's my first taste of adulthood and what that really means. And so far, it's to a pretty rough start. And I like how you said whelmed, because I'm whelmed. I'm very whelmed. I'm not overwhelmed. I'm still here. I'm still kicking. I'm still happy. I'm not, fuck, I'm sad. I'm going to cry for 5 days straight. I've been finding a lot less reasons to continue, in the sense of, and I don't mean suicide or anything. I just mean, is what I'm doing worth it? Is the community that I picked the one I really want? And, are all of my choices over the last 5 years that are leading to me right here, right now, the same ones I'm going to make that's going to make this a whole world of hurt in the next 5 years. I think the finance thing I bring up so much is because it's the most real tangible thing I can say to show my bad decision making. I'm not saying it to my own fault. You know, I think I will take responsibility for it because there are here and there things I could be doing, but the overwhelming nature of myself really kicks that out, you know, and it makes me not want to try to help myself while it's happening. I mean, the debt collector, it's been a week, you know, and so, yeah, I have a plan in place, but I haven't talked to him. I haven't called him back. He has no idea what's happening. I haven't talked to the financial aspect of like getting a plan of like, I'm paying 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. You know, it's just kind of up in the air. And I tend to leave a lot of stuff up in the air just because if it's in the air, I don't need to catch it.
Yeah. And the irony of life is that all those things in the air are going to rain down on you at the same time, right? And you only got two hands. And this is where we need some community or at least some support around us. And there are some things that I think I hear from you, which is like, it's not worth it. I don't care. I don't feel it. It's whelming. There's a lot of stuff, you know, in your adulthood now that you just haven't learned, haven't experienced, don't know. And that's okay. And some of it's not exciting. Some of it might be. And we could still tap into some things from your pre-adulthood, so to speak. But I mean, there were some work things that were getting you super excited. There's something about not allowing yourself to have the experience of these things and really feel it. You know, we're not going to do it now, but we'll continue to scratch at it. I want you thinking about it. Some of it is existential anxiety. Some of it is I've seen friends die. My mom's going to die. You know, I'm going to die. You know, having those thoughts. Okay. And we're also right here, right now.
Right.
And right here, right now, I think is where we need to recognize what's actually creating anxiety or discomfort for you. And look at that, you and me.
Mm-hmm.
The debt collector. Mm-hmm. He's just some dude sitting in front of a computer and you're one line on his spreadsheet.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
He just wants to check a box. You don't know that. Like sometimes we have, you know, the fear of God in us that oh shit, I better get this paid off. I don't want this following me around. And it's going to follow you around every day. It's just a line on a spreadsheet on a computer somewhere out there. And that's just one thing in the air. When I say it was a pretty traumatic experience going into adulthood for you with no healthcare, getting cut off, having the heart attack, you know, a lot of these things, there wasn't a smooth transition. It wasn't like, cool, I've got my hand on the back of the bike, keep pedaling, keep going, I'm jogging behind you. Okay, well, look at that. Hey, I'm no longer holding it. You're on your own. I'm right here watching you. Like, you didn't have that. You were like on a tandem bike with your mom pedaling the whole way. 1 minute, then the next minute, you know, you're at the Tour de France. Like,
yeah.
What?
And I want to throw brother into the mix here too. And I think a lot of my anger towards him comes from the jealousy in me towards him and my parents' relationship. And as I say that, you know, I think I need to make it clear, like, it was a smooth transition for him because he chose to do it. You know, he started going to Canada when he was 13. He had a game plan in high school of what he wanted to do post high school. And then he did that and kind of followed all of his steps. While, you know, me, I was like, I don't know what I want to do. I have no idea what next for me after high school. I don't know if I want to go to college. I don't know if I want to start working. I don't know if, you know, I didn't know. I look back and the thing that sticks out to me the most, and again, it's finances, and we'll talk more, you know, next week about it. But there is in high school, my brother graduated high school. He got 10 grand from my parents to go do whatever he wanted with. And I've never seen anything close to it. And not to say my parents haven't supported me, and I'm not to say that he got more, I got less, or because I'm sure that they paid more for me than 3 children of my brother. I was a very expensive child, and I get that. But there was no opportunity for me to take a financial thing and put it into something I believed in and got ahead with it. And I struggle with that, and I still do. And my dad bought an $8,000 bag for my mom yesterday from me, and I need $4,000 to just survive. And so I see that kind of stuff, and it just hurts, and it makes me angry. And I'm glad my dad's in a position to buy my mom nice things, and I'm glad that they're enjoying that. But she also just fucking got in a car accident. What do you mean? I'm struggling, and I'm in a fucking 1-bedroom by myself, trying to make this shit happen. And I'm trying, and I can't.
How does that feel saying that?
Kind of want to laugh, kind of want to cry, kind of want to punch a wall.
Good. But here's the real deal. You do feel.
Yeah.
20 minutes ago, I was like, yeah, whatever. I don't care. You care a lot.
Yeah.
You are angry. You're frustrated. You're confused. You're a little bit lost and a little bit found.
Yeah.
Okay. And, brother, like being jealous or being like bummed in the comparison. I get that. It's not about brother made his choice, did his thing. Fine. That's fine. Whatever. And I will say sometimes, not always, but sometimes the military option is a great option and a great cop-out because you don't have to worry about the real world. Same thing with academics. If you were like, oh, now I'm getting my master's degree. Now I'm going to law school. And sometimes, not for everybody, but sometimes that's an escape. And you can truly love your escape. That can be a great thing. I'm not knocking those things at all.
Right.
You don't have that in a way that you can present it to parents or to yourself or anyone else and go, hey, here's the thing I'm doing. Here's what I'm going into. And arguably, it would be fashion, or it would be being a parent.
Right.
And I think maybe what we can do next week is start to unpack some of that emotion. I want to laugh. I want to cry. I want to punch a wall when I think about this. First of all, we can allow you to feel what you're feeling and let that come up and come out.
Yeah.
First and foremost. That's a version of the oxygen mask.
Mm-hmm.
Then we can go way back and do the kind of thing we used to do, where you would spew, or you'd go like, well, here are all my thoughts. I don't know. Here they are. And we'll make it make sense, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot, and because it's all over the place and it's a lot, and I want to laugh, I want to cry, I want to punch a wall. Fuck it. It's easier just to shut down, shut off, keep going. Got it. And you will flatline through life that way until you actually flatline.
Yeah. In the middle of all this, I was going to say I was coasting and flatline. Boom, right there. I think I already am.
So we're gonna charge the paddles, stick them on you, and give that jolt. And a bit of that is some of that tough love stuff, but it's also some of the stuff that sometimes we need too, which is like, well, hey, wait, what's actually going on? Next week, if we scratch at this, you will laugh, you will cry, and you will do a version of punching a wall. You're allowed to get upset, you're allowed to get sad, and you're allowed to laugh about all this. You can have all that. The flatline, no, that's the head in the sand. That's the being in the weed haze the entire time. That's the avoiding something that's still going to be there. You're not doing it alone.
Yeah.
Training wheels might be off, but I've got a hand somewhere on the back of the bike, and you're actually a capable rider, but you're in France. We don't know the rules here.
I just wanted to point out the last Christmas holiday season, and how worried I was about everybody else and all the situations and everything else going on. I'm really happy that I am in a spot now this holiday season to be able to focus on me and what's going on in here. And I think this is the time of year I shut down the most. I think it's a beautiful thing to, I am feeling a lot right now, and I'm excited to go probably go to the gym, process this and feel a lot of it. And I'm excited, this is the holiday season I wanted.
it will be real. What makes it real is the laugh, cry, punch a wall, is feeling the feelings.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, knowing that the feelings won't overwhelm you. Shoving them down, ignoring them, letting them build, that eventually will, because it'll come out almost randomly sometimes.
Yeah.
And we're back.
We back.
We is.
For a new friend.
Bring it on.
His name is Drew. Hey, Drew. He's not listening. Okay. This session, Doug, have we talked about it? I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast, but obviously Drew and Sarah, very different vibe, right? Like obviously Drew is younger. He's going through a very specific stage of life, almost like the quarter life crisis, let's say, right? Which I hear from a lot of clients and myself included. We all kind of go through it, right? He's 25, 26 at this time? I think so.
26.
So anyway, I have so many thoughts actually, because it felt like, this is the way I summed it up. It felt like popping a zit, Doug, because I felt so much tension and I was feeling myself getting impatient almost with his level of avoidance that eventually you pop. And I felt so much relief at the end. I was like,
nice.
Thank God. Doug, I mean, you literally say, you had a heart attack, motherfucker. Like, and I'm like, wow, yeah, like, damn, he said it. Because I wanted to figuratively shake this man as he was talking. So I'm like, Drew, you care so much. You care so much that it is paralyzing you, brother.
Right.
So that is the first thing that came to mind, because I was like, woof. Also, I have to make fun of Doug for a second here, because he literally said, well, look at that. You said this in the very beginning. Well, look at that onion. I just want to throw some garlic in this for a second.
Yeah.
What a friggin' dork.
What?
A dork. And not a but. I love it because I love food. So I'm not even going to sit here and act like I wouldn't say something like that. Well, I'm not creative enough to say something like that, but someday I might be, and I'm not going to shame myself for it, because I think it's
the way that you're shaming
dorky
me
and it's
now?
cute. Yeah, but I want to shame you. Let me shame you. I have to have my moments.
Sure.
Okay. No, yeah, but I actually loved it because, you know, I love
you know what
food.
I was doing with that?
Yeah, you were saying like, let's hold off on the onion. I know that there's a lot of layers, lots of layers, and we get to them.
Right.
But I'm also going to like throw in some garlic on the side because there's like another little nugget here.
Yep. We're going to shift gears. We're going to talk about this over here.
Of course.
But you won't forget about the onion over there.
No,
it's still over there.
It's a blooming onion.
That's right.
There's so much going on. So Drew is literally saying, I feel okay. I look okay. I don't trust doctors, but I still want someone to tell me I'm okay. You know?
Right.
I don't know why, but I went so psychodynamic on this for some reason. And I was like, I wonder if this is perfectly almost mirroring or paralleling with his trust issues with his family or his parents, right? Like he wants them to be there, to love him, to be the safety net, to give him love and tell him he's going to be okay. But he also wants to like, fuck him. I don't trust him. I'm an adult now. I don't know if that's splitting, but it's almost... It's like the all or nothing, like binary.
I'm like making hand signals to you.
Doug literally threw that at me, you guys.
I'm like, no. It's all or nothing.
Talk about a safety net. Thank you, Doug.
Right.
The all or nothing thinking of it all. Drew is struggling with this right now, which is such a quarter life crisis thing. Because we're like, oh my God, am I a child? Am I an adult? Like, what do I do? Fuck.
Well, we've been building to this for a while.
Yeah.
If you guys remember listening to some of the Drew sessions earlier, we did talk a lot about individuation, becoming your own person and your independence, yet still having a safety net, but not relying on parents so much to bail you out and not being codependent. And he wasn't just trying to put on the Superman cape and go save them and take care of them, but he was using them as everything's okay. They take care of this. And Meredith used to give him crap over the podcast.
Oh, did she?
For not knowing anything about money or finances or anything, which comes up again in this session too.
Yeah, it's his biggest stressor, truly, which I do get. I can totally empathize with it. Like he's going to be the man of the house. I'm putting that in quotes because this is the way he kind of makes meaning of his life, right? Like he does have that stereotypical, I think he fights it a little bit in himself as we see, but I think he generally kind of has that stereotypical like gender norm of like, I'm the man, like my girl's pregnant. I got to provide. I got to take care of her. I really like am a hard worker. I'm going to do this, you know?
And he's already been in that role to some degree because she has a kid previously.
True. Yeah. So I think he kind of, in a way, kind of fell into that role because it was so natural to him too. Maybe because of the codependency stuff with his mom.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this session is so much of the balance as a therapist between tough love and like compassionate, gentle nurturance.
Right. Which we talk about. And we had episode a few back, if you guys remember, called The Challenge and the Fluff or something, right?
Yeah.
Because he likes being challenged. You know, a lot of the early therapy was what he would call fluff.
Yeah.
You know,
the validation and the active listening and all the Rogerian, like just classic, therapy.
Right.
But I want to go on the record here saying that clients will come in and say, I don't want that fluffy bullshit, right? But then they come in and it's like, that's the stuff that actually leads to change for them because they're like, oh shit, I did need that. No one's ever really given me that.
And the way that you just said it is you need both. You need to actually trust somebody. I mean, that's something Sarah said too. Like she doesn't believe her mom when her mom is praising her because she just got that all the time. Right.
And then it felt fake to her.
Right. Yeah. So you don't want a therapist just telling you textbook therapist things that are building your self-esteem and making you feel good about yourself. No, you need to build that trust with them. And you also need to know that they are going to challenge you.
Yeah, it has to be both.
Yeah, I need somebody that's going to call me on my shit and be direct.
Yeah, and there are therapists I've seen who are adamantly against being the tough love therapist. And I understand semantics, blah, 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 saying tough love maybe sounds a little harsh, but I struggle with the idea of not including any sort of tough love or any challenge, right? Because every human does need a little dose of like accountability and like what role do you play in your life?
I'll go with this. One thing I like to say is there's a subtle art and sometimes not so subtle of pushing without pushing over, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you've heard me say that.
I have, yeah.
There's something with clients where when we're challenging them in sometimes these ways and sometimes other ways that we can challenge them, like saying something that we know they're going to disagree with because we're pushing them to a point to disagree.
Right, to the extreme. You almost want to poke at it. Yeah.
That's a therapeutic tool. And all of these things are, in a sense, to get the clients to be thinking about things and to express things and to let them out and to let that, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going with this, to let the pus squirt at the mirror across the way.
See? It's like popping zit.
Well, I only did that because you said that. I think that's
the continuity.
Gross, but
feels
I get
great.
it. Yeah.
It's not gross. It's the best thing ever. I love popping zits.
Dr. Pimple Popper, you watch that on?
I don't cross that line of like watching other people's zits being popped, but I like to pop zits.
There's a TikTok doctor that somehow got on my feed and they remove stuff from people like, oh, here's somebody with a little splinter. Let's watch them remove it. And they pull out like a whole tree.
Nope.
It's crazy.
That's a no for me.
Yep.
That's a hard no for me. I'd probably pass out. Speaking of doctors, Drew does not want to see one.
Nope.
And what's interesting to me, and you point this out, like you see a therapist, are you mentally fucked up? And then just laughter, right? Because kind of. Which I think a lot of people would say, right? Well, it's funny because we even have to use that metaphor when usually it's the opposite. Usually it's the inverse, right? Like usually we have to convince people to get mental health care, not physical health care. Usually people will go to the doctor, get their broken leg checked out, get their diabetes medication, but they will not take care of their mental health. And I just think it's so interesting that Drew is the inverse of that. Yeah.
And part of that is, and he says it in the session, that if you have an experience and it didn't go well, and giving the example of like, well, I just need to like wait it out and I'll be fine. And you go to see a doctor and the doctor says, oh, just wait it out and you'll be fine.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes. You know, or they give you the wrong thing or they guess wrong.
It's fair. It's fair. Look, I understand.
Now, though, I think the stakes are higher because this is costing him money. He's not on his parents' insurance anymore.
And that's what stresses him out.
Right.
He hates the money part. Right. And that's the part that I can empathize with and understand. But at the same time, dude, you don't have a choice. You're going to be a dad soon. And we get there eventually, but we realize, okay, yes, it's a lot of existential anxiety. You know, he's confronted.
Yeah, he gets there.
Right? He doesn't want to be confronted with any health issues because it reminds him of death. I mean, it reminds all of us of death, like physical ailments and just anything like that. And, you know, he has his reasons for why he doesn't trust doctors.
Right.
I'm wondering too, I wonder if finding the right doctor is like finding the right therapist, because it's definitely different. But I wonder if part of it for him too is like, well, maybe there's a way to find a doctor that gets me, that understands me, you know, and it's like, I trust them. But is that even possible with a doctor that's not a weekly, you know, relationship?
Yeah, it's not a relationship.
Yeah, it's different.
So it is very different. And sometimes what you want from a doctor is somebody that is like a savant and just knows, oh, here's the diagnosis. This is what it is. It's this. So you do this for it. Okay. When I first got diagnosed with MS and they were like, oh, we want you on this med. Like, no, no, I'm not ready to take that. Like I need to absorb this. I had some other things going on, some other trauma that I was dealing with that same week.
Yes. Oh
was
my
like,
God. Yeah.
Like slow down. No. And I went and saw a different neurologist who somebody told me was, oh, you'll like this one better. She's a lot more maternal. Like, great. And I saw her and it was months of working with her and it was like, okay, I guess I should get on the meds. Like, cool.
So it was partly
for sure. Okay. Then I went back to the first one. Oh. Because I was like, you know what? You're the top one in the state or maybe even the country. And I just wasn't ready to hear that stuff from you. Now I am.
Sure. Yeah.
And she even knew the doctor that I went and saw because it's a small community. She's like, well, if you were going to cheat on me, that's the person to cheat with. So you're okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
But
I'm just glad you're on the meds.
Yes. Like that's the main thing. But it's hard because everyone has their own individual reasons and barriers to meds, right? To like making that decision.
Whatever it might be.
Remind me though, Drew is not on any medication therapy-wise. Psychotropic medication. No. Okay. And that makes sense. It's pretty
self-medicates.
Consistent. Exactly, right? That's a topic for another day. But it is funny how a lot of people will do, self-medication, but they don't trust.
On the podcast, you guys have heard where he was prescribed meds. He went to...
This is true. He went
to the ER. He was given meds and he was like, whoa. I flushed them down the drain because I don't want to wind up like my mom because I liked what that did. I liked how I felt. It gave me relief. I liked it too much. And I don't know that it was necessarily the addiction that he was worried about for himself. It was the ending up like my mom, who is an addict. So I guess it is addiction.
I mean, it's the addiction that is also tied to this person that is such a complicated role in his life.
Yep.
And I think tied to that, back to the existential anxiety piece is like, he's going to be the man of the house. He's got an important role. I think a lot of men in particular, have their purpose kind of tied up in their work and their position in the family, in the home, like what they can provide. Maybe he doesn't want to be on meds or be sick because it would make him look weak. I mean, I don't know. These are all questions maybe I would explore with him.
Right.
But you make a good point, kind of segueing from existential anxiety, which is a large kind of zoom out approach to, okay, but it's easy to do that. It's really easy to kind of over intellectualize, as a lot of people do. But to go actually deeper and stick with the individual, like you, like what is actually going on with you right here, right now, right?
Exactly.
Because it's easy to go big and go existential. Yep, we're all scared of death. But like what's going on for you right now in your particular context?
Right.
Cool. Any thoughts on that?
That's the forest and the tree right in front of you right now. Like it's so easy sometimes when that tree right in front of you is scary, it's big, we don't know how to get around it. To just go, oh, wow. Well, you know, I mean, this whole forest, this is where I'm at. It's this whole thing. And what's the meaning of any of that? All right, but hang on, dude. Can we get back to that tree right in front of you? And that was where part of me, like in that exchange, talking about existential anxiety, I was like, look, I'm going to poke at this right now. I'm going to challenge you right here. So I'm prepping him for that because otherwise it might sound like I'm uncaring or just being a dick, but I'm not.
It's a yes and. I mean, you like respect it. We hear it. Obviously, I think we talked about this in the first podcast we did, but we both are very existentially minded. So we easily get that. Like we can go there. And it can be a symptom of that function of over-intellectualizing, which kind of steers you away from what your feelings really are deep down. And speaking of feelings and not caring, well, I was wondering because after you said, fuck it, just smoke a joint, blah, blah, blah. Like you were trying to give him kind of the devil's advocate, you know, well, here, what if I just told you this response, right? About you not giving a shit. Like, okay, cool. And he was like, oh God, yeah, that just feels so uncaring. I want challenge. I want to be progressed, right? Like I want to progress forward.
Right.
And I was kind of wondering, I guess, and I'm going to play devil's advocate here, like why didn't we stay in those feelings of like, ooh, yeah, how did it feel to have someone just kind of dismiss and be like, yeah, fuck it, bro. Like just smoke a joint. Like life's good. Like whatever.
Right.
I wanted to like dig at that more and be like, yeah, what just came up for you there? Which you do use immediacy a lot. You'll be like, oh, I see a smile on your face. Yeah, what am I going to say? You know, which I love. So I guess I'm wondering like, why didn't we stay in that? But you do get there, I guess.
Yeah, I got there, and a lot of the dynamic with him, he'll get to things on his own. He will definitely think of things throughout the week and come back to them. I just threw something back at him.
Yeah.
And he knew what I was doing. I prefaced it and he loved it and he got it and it made sense. He's going to think about it in the next week and it's going to do something. So he'll bring it back.
Okay. So you planted the seed, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, sure, I could have stayed there, but then I would have gone to that tree and, now I'm just dealing with this one tree here. And we process that and figure out a way around that tree. But we've got a little grove of trees.
Yeah. We have a
Not
lot
the
of
whole
other
forest,
stuff.
but
Okay. Okay.
And that was, something I wanted to, like you said, plant and get to
Sure.
for sure. But he'll do some of that on his own. And there was something also around this time in the session, I don't know if you caught it, where I paused for a second. I was kind of like, okay. And I really did pause. You guys can hear it because there was a pause in me speaking, which is rare because
Doug likes to talk, y'all.
That's it. Well, you're one to talk. We're both ones to talk. We are two to talk. And that's having that moment was great because in that moment, he smiled. And I was like, oh, dude.
This was my next note too.
Yeah, go for it.
No, I love it. I mean, this is the immediacy that I was talking about, which I love to use with clients because it really breaks down that meta, like, what are we doing here kind of thing. Like, I see you, I saw that smile. So yeah. What's going on? What do you think I'm about to say? Right. Because you can kind of see it building in him. Like, yeah, you're right. I'm avoiding something here. Yeah.
And that was in part, he really takes to a lot of the metaphors, the analogies, some, I wouldn't say the mannerisms in the speech, but in a way, yeah.
He does actually, but he'll take a lot of what you say and kind of regurgitate it in his own way.
And vice versa. The way I am as a therapist with him sounds slightly different than the way I am with Sarah. So I kind of give back what a client is giving me. This was a time for me to, and I'd love to say I planned it this way. I don't know if I did. I was slowing down and pausing so he could see what it's like to do something that I know, Kenzie, you in particular, don't really.
That I don't like doing?
Yeah.
You're doing it right now.
A little bit.
Pausing.
Pausing.
God, it's so quiet.
Right.
I'm getting better, but I still don't.
In this moment, and you don't need to, but it's a tool that I used here and it worked because he absolutely got it. I could see it. And now, like I said many times, a session is just us thinking out loud as him.
Yeah.
I take on how he thinks to some degree.
Yes, you do. You're really good at that. I think I kind of learned that technique from you. Like if they are not maybe explicitly saying it or if they can't identify their feelings, for you to just say, God, Drew, if I were you, I'd be feeling like, oh, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? And then they're like, oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, God, you're right. That's how I'm feeling. Fuck.
Exactly. And that's why he knows that I've got nothing but love for him.
Yeah.
And I can push him without pushing him over. So I could say, yeah, now that we're thinking about it, now that you and I are thinking and we're throwing this out here, how you're acting, it's kind of childish, isn't it? I mean, it's
his biggest fear.
That's why I used the training wheels. And you went like, okay, you're now about to become a father. You went from training wheels to you're in the freaking Tour de France.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, the stakes are way up. And somebody just took their hand off the back of your seat 2 minutes ago.
Now you're in the highest level. Yeah. Right. You can't go from 0 to 100.
Nope.
But yeah, you're saying this is the tough love part, right? Like that's not really an adult way to do things. I know you think right now, like people think that being that selfless, I'll do everything for everyone before I even help myself. We think that's like the noble, good thing to do. When really, no, you got to realize like you can't really help people unless you're helping yourself. And that's a hard lesson to learn, but that's adulthood. Totally. I would know. I'm 30.
Right. And it doesn't mean you need to be an adult and do everything this way. It's just, But we have to recognize when we have that childish thing. And and I will say that's okay to bring to a therapist. I've even said to Drew, sometimes you just want your mommy. That's an okay feeling to have. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Sometimes you do want that. Sometimes unconditional positive regard. We want that from a therapist.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need it sometimes because who else is giving us that? We're sure as shit ain't giving us that if we're feeling depressed.
Totally.
I mean, especially Drew. I mean, he's getting to this, but oh gosh, this part, in my notes, I literally have in all caps, sad. Because he says, it doesn't really excite me for the future. Like if I look back on this year and everything I've gone through, like if this is adulthood, oh God, like it doesn't really excite me for the future. Like his first taste of adulthood is just kind of bitter.
Yeah.
And it makes me sad for him. But it's also like, yeah, sometimes it is. But what I like about therapy and what you can offer him here and what you do is that Yeah, sometimes we're in it in the moment, it feels so bitter and gross and there's no hope for the future, but we can offer them that perspective that's like, but remember, there are moments of joy. There are moments that you have enjoyed, things you are looking forward to, things you're passionate about. You just can't access them right now.
It's a yes and, even if you don't see it there, even if you don't feel it there. And that's part of what I was tapping for him, is to make sure we can get it.
Oh, dang it. Beckett almost joined us.
Perfect timing. Tapping.
Tappy.
And the tappy of the little doggy
I can't wait
feet.
for him to finally join me on this couch.
Someday. But that is, for Drew, I think being able to hit that piece of, yes, you can be childish to a degree. Yes, you can be an adult to a degree, not full blown.
Yeah.
And yeah, things can be, I think he threw it on me before I threw it on him, our word, whelming. Things can feel whelming. Totally. It's not overwhelming. It's whelming. It's a lot.
Yeah, because life is a lot. I was just talking to my friend about this. Sorry, kind of tangent, but living is awesome. I woke up the other morning and I was like, God, being alive is so awesome. Like, to just touch a rock, just being alive is cool. But life sucks. Like, living is so cool. If it was just living, that would be great. But we have to deal with external circumstances and life. And that part can suck sometimes.
Right.
But the through line is that, wow, we're living. This is pretty cool. As opposed to death, which is not very cool and that we freak out about.
It's funny. I said the same thing to a friend of mine, but almost
the opposite.
The opposite words.
Yeah.
I said, life is amazing.
Okay.
We're on a walk and there's a stream going through. I was like, life is amazing.
Yes.
It's all the things that living presents that are really difficult. And if we don't fight it all the time, if we're not going against the stream all the time and we go with the flow, I mean, cliched therapist thing to say.
Yeah, leaves on a stream. Baby.
Right. Then, life is great. So same thing, just different words.
Yeah, I mean, semantics in this sense are like, you could really just flip it. It doesn't really matter. But you understand the message. It's like, we do fundamentally, I think most of us want to be alive, but he is in a moment here where he's feeling such despair for the weight of the world.
Yes. Earlier on in sessions with him, and Meredith jumped all over this, I said to him, you don't sound like somebody that wants to die.
Ooh.
You sound like somebody that's having a really hard time living this way.
And why'd you jump all over it? Because you're saying you don't. Yeah.
Right. And he even says in this session, not suicidal thoughts. It was just this.
Yeah.
Because I think I've worked with clients that are suicidal, and that's different.
Same.
And he said even early on, he would call it suicidal ideology, which he meant suicidal ideation because somebody told him that.
It's that passive suicidal ideation. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And for him, it's just that feeling of overwhelm and that feeling of this is all so much. And I don't want to live like this. I want that life, or as you would say, that living of going with the flow and being that. But right now it's just so damn hard.
Yeah. I want an out. Give me an out. I just want to escape, but not permanently.
Right. Which is funny because that's where might be the next thing that you hit. That's where I challenged him again and just went part of what he tries to do is have all these things. I think he even says, I leave a lot of stuff up in the air.
Yes.
Because if they're up in the air, I don't need to catch it. Right.
And then you hit him with, but gravity.
Right.
And I love it because I put in all caps, gravity.
Right.
It's gonna come down, Drew. It's gonna come down. I know it sucks, but you can't leave it all up in the air. It doesn't work here on Earth.
No, and that to me, that's the process of becoming an adult, is knowing that gravity exists. You can have the training wheels and they might help you at some points and you can avoid at some points. And I mean, he mentions his brother and seeing, well, when my brother graduated, he got $10,000 or something. It was amazing.
Parents,
But he took a route of going into the military.
Totally different.
Absolutely different. That was not going to be Drew's route at all. And going the route that his brother did, and I poked at this because I was trying to get to this point with Drew, where what your brother did was arguably a way of avoidance.
It was almost the easy way out. Maybe.
Which, believe me, I'm not saying going into the military is the easy way.
No. Well, because I said that. And I'm also not saying that.
Right.
But it could have been his way of avoiding.
It's a very contained, understandable way of life to be in the military. I even talked about being in academia.
Yeah, it's like a control thing too.
Totally. And he is somebody that feels spiraling out a lot of times and that is worried about escaping, that has that all or nothing mentality. Yes. So he's either all in and it's overwhelming, or he's all out and he needs that escape.
Yeah, you did talk about that with him. Like that, okay, well, we'll just smoke some blunts and we'll live our life and fuck it, hang tight. Like, let's just, die when we die.
Right.
And then there's the really uber responsible adult that has children and a family and wants to provide and be here and experience all of this.
Right.
And it's yes and. There is a balance to be had. I mean, I know balance is like this enigma of a concept, but it's really, I think you've talked about this in other sessions before with him, that course calibration, just figuring out course correcting. Thank you.
Yep.
What it means just week by week, take it week by week, month by month, day by day. Like what feels good today? What feels right today? What's the next best step?
Yeah.
I'm wondering too, and maybe I'm going off on more behavioral devil's advocate thing here, but I'm thinking of like the old school kind of CBT or behaviorist way of looking at things, like SMART goals. Remember SMART goals?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that I'm a smart girl. I'm a smart girly.
I think you're plenty smart,
Thanks,
Kenzie.
Doug. I'm not a SMART goal person anymore, but I worked in the school system, so it's still in there, And I'm wondering, devil's advocate here, is there a part of you, probably not, but was there a part of you that maybe wanted to or could have said, you know what, Drew, let's do one step at a time. Like, what's one thing you could do tomorrow? Call the doctor, check your insurance.
Right.
Like one small, realistic step.
Okay, so SMART goals, if you guys don't know.
Yeah.
SMART is
it's an acronym. Yeah.
Right. Specific, measurable, achievable.
Yeah.
Relevant, and time bound.
Hey, we still got it.
So it's having that. Here's the goal. I can reach it. I talk about setting yourself up to succeed, not setting yourself up to fail. And Drew loves having mile markers.
Yes, right? Which is why I kind of throw this in there.
So you're right. That might have been something really helpful. But where we turned at this point, where you probably were thinking, "Oh, SMART goals. Give him this.
Yeah,
give him a SMART goal."
Right.
And what we were doing became more descriptive than prescriptive, where the emotion we touched.
Yes. The why, it's the meaning behind it or underneath it. It's the emotional. What I really have, what I'm drawn towards now is not so much goals, but like values, right? Like what do we actually care about? What's our why for doing what we're doing? Because the values are what's going to let us achieve the goals. So I think kind of what you do with him is like, let's get down to the feelings. And this is why I call it popping a freaking zit, because at the end, he finally gets to, like he's sad. He's disappointed. He wants to punch a wall.
I love it. I want to laugh. I want to cry.
Yeah.
I want to punch a wall.
Fuck yeah.
Brilliant.
Every day.
Yeah.
Drew, same.
Right.
Every day, Drew.
Right.
That's life, ain't it?
Especially and in the world of the podcast timeline, it's right around the holidays. And he was like, this is the time of year I shut down the most.
Yeah.
So we're hitting this point. And it was beautiful. And that's, again, why I didn't want to give him the SMART goal at this point was he's just getting to the emotion. Well, it's not that it's too much. It's that it would have taken him over there. He would have taken a turn over there.
It would have taken him out of his feelings.
And I wanted him to stay here and sit with this for a while. I don't remember where he is next week.
Yeah, I don't either. And I'm wondering, maybe we do something that's a little more. But what I do remember is that he kind of takes this and runs with it. Like you said, you plant seeds for him and he'll be like, you'll be so proud of me. Like I called my doctor.
Sure.
Like, sneak peek. But,
okay. So there's get proactive and do something about your health. Because dude, you had a heart attack.
Yeah, motherfucker. Sorry, I love that so much. I love
it. Sometimes you got to do it.
Shake it up a little bit.
That's right. And shaking it up by, I did that one. I took a pause and let him see me think. So then he could think. And the biggest one to me, my takeaway from this session was him going, I want to laugh. I want to cry. I want to punch a wall. Okay.
Yep.
That's emotional.
Yeah.
I want to hear the emotion.
He
is such a sensitive guy.
I know. And I love it. And I'm like, Drew, just embrace your sensitivity, my dude. It's so good. It is serving a purpose.
Yeah. So we got to bring that out and we'll see what he does with it.
Let's see.
Indeed.
Let's see if the plants come out of the seeds.
Oh, as long as we water them and cover them with dirt and maybe give them some plant food.
Sure.
I don't know.
Sure. As we hope you're all doing for yourselves out there.
And for the podcast. If you want to feed the podcast, then please rate us, review us, send us to your friends, send us to your enemies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, especially them. Fuck them. Kidding. Yeah.
We're always kidding unless we're serious. And then we're serious and we're never kidding. It's all or nothing.
All or nothing, yeah.
And right now, we're about to be nothing, but you guys can be the all. And we will be back next week. For nothing of you.
Nothing of me?
All of you.
All of me.
All of you.
All of me.
Oh my gosh.
Wants all of you.
And that's our cue.
Bye.
Bye.